Hello everyone, Mrs. Belo here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to use and navigate the website called ptable.com. Hopefully this is a website that you will use a lot throughout this semester and hopefully next semester. In case you're at home and you forget your periodic table, you can always refer to this website. So this website will default to the properties view, which is what we want. There are some other different ways to look at the periodic table, such as this one, electrons. We'll actually touch on this later in the semester when we get to chapter, I believe, 4. And then we also have some other different types of periodic table layouts as well, but this is the standard one that we're going to be going with. So when I'm on this website, I usually like to exit out of the ads up there, and then I also like to click here on ptable just so that I can see that full view instead of being on the properties view that gives you this over here for a specific element. I just like to click on ptable and then I can just see the entire periodic table. So I'm going to point out a couple things that you are going to have to label on your periodic table for the periodic table labeling homework. So if you hover over these components here, you're going to notice that certain parts of the periodic table will be highlighted. So for example, you are going to have to label the metals on your periodic table. Now, generally speaking, there are 3 major groups of the periodic table that we can break it down into: metals, metalloids, and nonmetals. So those are very broad categories. So if I just hover over metals, right now it is showing me all of the metals. These would be all of the metalloids, and then these would be all the nonmetals, which you will have to label accordingly on your periodic table. So again, you just hover over those words there, so it highlights the entire group. You'll notice though, within the periodic table though, there are specific groups. So a specific type of metal group. So the alkali metals, and you're gonna have to label these as well. Alkaline earth metals, the lanthanoids and the actinoids, those actually may already be labeled on your periodic table. Transition metals, you do not have to worry about the post-transition metals. That's not something that we focus a lot on, so don't worry about labeling. I would just leave them be. You don't have to label them anything. I'm just really gonna generally throughout the semester just refer to them as metals. You're also not going to label non-reactive metals, and you will have to label the noble gases and the halogens as well. You don't have to worry about these 2 groups here. Also, the periodic table, you can look at it in terms of solid, liquid, and gas. So up here you can change that, but these are all of the solids at 0 degrees Celsius, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, or 273 degrees Kelvin. So these are all the solids that are highlighted in black. The liquids are highlighted in blue, gases, and then you're probably wondering, why is there this weird gray group down here, and why are they labeled unknown? So a lot of those were man-made elements, so they were made in a lab. So we only made a very small amount, so we don't know if they're solid, liquid, and gas, because only like 1 atom of that element was most likely made. Some of them we do know are metals, however. And that's about it. If you have any questions on this, just make sure you reach out to me or your teacher.